Right. Hi. My name's Fery. So I am a shamanic healer and astrologer based in Wellington, New Zealand. And today I'm going to actually talking about the healing, the topic of the healing. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people in health and wellness industry. There's so many healing modalities and there's so many things going on in this healing and wellness industry. And I have been embarked on my own healing journey for quite a while and going through a lot of transformational experiences myself. And now I really want to share what I have learned and just to bring awareness to people who are just started on this journey and having some discernment and just avoiding the mistake I've made and in the whole journey, right? And what actually really works and why you're healing stuck and why you need to start it in the first place, right? Yeah, so I think this is going to be a long video. And if you do feel resonate with what I'm talking about, and I do encourage you to share with people who just started this journey, and then they will have more understanding, awareness what they get themselves into, right? Yeah, so I think that's basically today I'm going to talking about why we need to do healing and why you're healing stuck and how we actually get into the core of the healing, right? So a little bit background of me. So I am originally from China. I was totally an atheist. I don't believe anything spiritual. And until I had my spiritual awakening, depression, and all this kind of stuff, I have tried all the like normal way and of healing, but in the end, I find out it doesn't gonna work. So I have to try the alternative way of healing. And I started with Reiki and tarot, astrology, all of this, and to help me to understand what's going on with me, right? What's wrong with me. This is all helpful tools. And then I get into meditation journey, vipassana, and yoga, breath work, and release emotion, and learn how to like regulate my nervous system. Yeah, this is help. The whole thing helps, and all yoga, meditation, yeah. And then I find out there's something deeper. And I understand where my trauma is. I knew where it coming from, and I know how to regulate my emotions and like regulate my nervous systems, doing yoga, breath work, meditation, all that kind of stuff. It's all wonderful. But in the end, I find there's still something lingering. There's still some core pattern still coming back. And then I feel the calling to do the shamanic training. And because I feel like, yes, this is good for me to push me to where I am. And then I realized there's a core things I need to resolve. For example, relationship pattern or like money issues and whatever it is. And this repetitive pattern that make me feel there's something deeper I need to be done, right? So that's what the kind of like brief version of why I'm stepping into the shamanic journey. Yeah. And yeah, and then it was blow my mind and also changed my life permanently. And I cannot unseen what I've seen now, right? How I perceive the world and how I actually connecting with myself more deeply and connecting with nature, with people surrounding me, and the whole thing has changed. Right, so I think that's the something I really want to share here. This is the healing journey we all embark on. It doesn't need to follow my journey, but this information I want to share here is hopefully can invoke something within you, so you're able to actually starting your own healing journey. Right, so today I'm talking about why we need start healing. This is really important questions because a lot of people say, hey, I want to heal myself and do the work. And what is the work? What is the healing? Why I need to do this, right? So the reason why I started my healing journey is because basically my life burns out and the way it was doesn't work for me anymore. So I have to find a change and a way of living that really suits myself, my soul, right? Yeah, so I think the reason why we need to do the healing and from the shamanic perspective is not just about you heal yourself, you live life happy ever after. It's not about that. It's we all interconnected in so many different ways, and everybody in your encounter, in your on your street and in the grocery store, whatever it is, everyone you encounter have some association with you, even though they might just strangers. And because we are so interconnected, healing yourself is do yourself a favor and also do others a favor as well. When you heal, you actually become a safe container for yourself. You're not self-judging yourself. You're not being criticized, like self-critic of yourself. You are not have negative self-talk to yourself. You know how to treat yourself well, so as treat other people well as well. So when you become safe container to be around, like with yourself and within others, and then the whole world will be better world. So just imagine that. So I think the healing is not just for ourselves, it's also for other people, for your partners, for your community, and for how you show up. Because when we can have the right value and the right connection with ourselves and with others, and we're creating a safe environment for all of us to live in, right? So I think that's the reason why we're actually doing the healing. It's not just doing the healing for yourself and for the sake of like living happy ever after. That's just a byproduct. But the whole meaning of the healing is not just healing individually, it's healing the collectively as well, right? So that's just why we need to do healing. And this one, I need to read my note because otherwise I'm just going to go tangent, go to 1,000 miles away. And why you healing stuck? I think that's a lot of people, especially when the new age spirituality coming through, and all the things like people, I want to do the healing, I want to do the work and do the shadow work and all of that. But do you know why you have done so many work, your healing still feels stuck? The first reason I want to talking about is you intellectualize your healing. That can come towards, for example, psychology, right? I've been studying psychology for like 10 years more even, because I thought something was wrong with me. I was called too much. I was really emotionally unstable. So I even thought I probably have bipolar, and I trying to self-diagnose. And so you study psychology, and you understand your trauma, you go to a therapist. This is all good because I think because we have our mind, the healing cannot exclude your mind. But when you too intellectualize your healing, that's where you're stuck. For example, if you understand, where's your trauma coming from, why this is happening, and so what? What's next? You understand all of them. You have an aha moment. You have a realization. But what's the next step? And the story is still there. The energy is still there. But you couldn't really actually releasing anything and transmuting anything. You're just purely, basically stuck in that mental story. Yes, this is what happens. That's how we do what we do. But what's the change? What's the improvement? Right? So that's the first one. If you intellectualize your healing, and that's where you're stuck in your mind and nothing will shift, right? So this is the first one. And also, of course, a lot of people, for example, when I get into my spiritual journey, I starting to learn astrology and human design and all that kind of thing. Kind of like spiritual side of like intellectualize your healing as well. And I do find it's really helpful to understand your soul map, to understand your destiny, to understand why you're here, do what you do. But that's also a spiritual story too, right? So if you intellectualize all the story, all the things you've learned about yourself, and then you're just stuck there. But this is a really important step though, because you have to have some certain level of awareness to know where is the healing, right? When you know where is the healing, that's where you can actually liberate yourself from that core wound, right? So that's the first one. And the second one is expect someone else to fix you. I think that's not just only in the health and wellness space, and also in spiritual community as well. So for example, people are looking for people are looking for therapist, counselor, doctor. So we get into the medical system. You are asking for appeal to kind of like manage your symptom, but no one really want to go deeper. What's the root cause of pain of this symptom, right? So you can have appeals and get your symptoms like regulated and all that thing. And you went to because you're expecting doctors or counselor, therapists, and healers and all these people who might hold the the key of your healing and to fix you. And that's where you actually like giving your power away. And you forgot that we're all healers. Our body is designed to self-heal, but you just need to remind yourself that you are your own healers. But what is the root cause of the pain? Yeah, so when you hand it over your power to other people and the authority and the doctors and the people who may hold the magic, but actually you are the magic, and everything you seek is within. So that's why you're healing stuck, because you become dependent on the external of you to heal yourself. Yes, this kind of support is helpful and in level, because sometimes you have to manage your symptom in order to actually make it bearable first, right? And then you have the capacity to actually go in deeper with what is the root cause of it, right? So that's the second thing. You expecting someone else to fix you. I think that's the key. A lot of people, when you dependent on other people to your own healing, you basically kind of like you escape the responsibility of yourself, of your own life. You just want to do a quick relaxation session and doing Reiki and all that kind of stuff. Just want to quickly clear, I don't need to deal with it, and then it's done. And then when that thing's happening, you're coming back again. So, I'm just going to go to this healer. I'm just going to go to this counselor. I'm just going to go to this psychologist, right? So this is not going to work. You have to really taking responsibility of your own life. I think that's the core principle in shamanic perspective as well. You are your own creator of your life. It's not ignore all the circumstances we're in. It's basically make yourself accountable for your own healing, for your own choices, for your own free will of what you are going to do, going through experiences, and just make yourself accountable. Right? So that's another thing. If you're still expecting someone or to fix you or heal you, your healing will go nowhere, basically. So that's another thing. And the third thing I want to talking about is chasing spiritual high and avoiding human low. Right? So when we get into the healing space, yes, for example, we need to be active and all the human side of things. You cannot ignore. The bills have to pay and the responsibility you have to attend. This is not something you want to escape from. It's something in this human experiences. Actually, every moment is a teaching moment. It's teaching you something about yourself, about others, about your connection with nature, and about community, whatever it is, right? A lot of people, for example, they get a little bit further, and for example, they had done a lot of like psychology and all the normal way of healing we think of, and they get into spirituality and get spiritual healing, right? But I've seen a lot of people actually chasing the spiritual high to avoiding the human experiences. That's literally spiritual bypassing, because you forgot actually enjoying your food, and enjoying a moment, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying every single thing you have, and having gratitude towards all the things you have is also your human experiences. And also sometimes the human experiences, we're going through grief, going through loss, going through all of hardship as well. That's part of our lesson. And also, like when you allow yourself to feel, to going through the phase of, like, the season of life. It's not always up. It's always sometimes going through the human low as well. You're not using spiritual high to avoiding that, to tell yourself it's all love and light. And sometimes you have to admit that life sucks, right? But not saying, hey, I stay in the life sucks the stage, but I embrace what is coming through and what is the growth within these experiences. And that's where your spiritual mindset actually can help you going through the human experiences instead of like escaping from it, right? So a lot of people going through, for example, plant medicine, psychedelics, and all that ceremonies and do all that. Yeah, it's good, it feels good, feel blissful, but what's next? Are you able to integrating all that experiences in your daily life? Are you able to embrace all of you have and to still be grounded and solid within yourself, right? So that's a very massive thing that's happening in the wellness industry and healing space as well. So yes, the spiritual high can help you release a massive emotion, whatever it is, but how you integrating it, how you bring it back, how you anchor it in your daily life, and no one actually teaching you. So you get really good experiences in a trip, in a training, but what else? What's the integration? Right? So that's another thing. Chasing the spiritual high and avoiding human low. That's another thing. That's the reason why your healing is stuck. And another thing is like that's actually really how can I say common as well, especially when yoga, meditation, mindfulness living become a trend, and all of the things is helpful, really helpful. I'm still using it, I'm still practicing it because that's really helpful me to really grounding myself and to actually maintain a present moment, right? But it's not something. It's kind of still the same things, like you obsess over regulation and avoid the core wound, right? So it's basically you can regulate your nervous system, for example, doing yoga, doing meditation, take a deep breath work, all that kind of stuff. It can regulate you, of course, it can. But why this certain emotions, like patterns, still coming back and repetitively? There's a reason for it. Because people, when you kind of like thinking yoga can solve every single problem, and meditation can solve every single problem, breath work can solve every single problem, and then you're stuck because you are busy with regulate your nervous system. So in shamanic practice, we're talking about actually the core wounds. Most of the time is the inner child. When you actually your inner child feeling safe and content in your nervous system, because it's really active part of your nervous system. When this part of yourself actually feels safe, seen and heard and loved, and then you don't need to regulate your nervous system all the time, right? So yeah, for example, when situation really shocking or really traumatic happening, you do need some tools to help you. But when you rely on the tools, you're stuck in your healing. It's the same thing. It's kind of a spiritual, soothing your spiritual symptom, right? Using a spiritual tool to soothing your symptom, right? And I think that's a lot of people doing it. So, okay, I'm just doing yoga, but for example, I've seen a lot of people, yoga teachers and breathwork facilitators, right? And when it comes to real human, for example, a conflict, and they're not able to having a hard conversation. And for example, if they really need to go back to their feelings, no, I don't need to feel this. I just do breath work or releasing it. I just do a yoga to calm it down. So this is another way of suppression. Do you see what I mean? You're supposed to feel what you need to feel, and in order to releasing the energy. I think that's also the principle of the shamanic healing as well, is actually, okay, this is what happened, no matter what's this core wound, core belief, associate what kind of event, traumatic event, past life, ancestral, whatever it is. And if this energy is still in your body, you have to find a way to feel it. It's not about, okay, you just passively like allowing other external things to help you releasing it. It's actually feel it. Imagine, for example, if you are not able to feel what you're supposed to feel and using all the external tools to actually avoiding it, what happened? It still will come back. It's still in your system. And also, if your mindset doesn't change, you can releasing it in a moment, but it's still coming back. The same thing with when we do Reiki healing, do all the healing sessions, and no matter what kind of session you're doing, you release the energy. And if your mindset doesn't change, if you really doesn't want to like letting go subconsciously, and you will still coming back. So that's what I'm saying, like obsess over regulation and avoid core wound. And of course, the last one, the spiritual bypassing and to avoiding, just basically to avoiding really the feelings. And the spiritual bypassing part, I'm not going to talking more because I feel like I will have a separate video to talking about it, because I really feel like it's really important to bring the awareness to it, because a lot of people are doing it right now. And a lot of people are even making like $1 million about this, and which is bizarre. And so that's why I'm saying, like, we need to have some discernment, especially in the digital world, and we have so many information coming towards us, and are they really real? Because a lot of people, even they teach you things, but they're never actually embodying in their experiences. They learn this kind of things and then telling you, oh, this is what they learned, become master of it, which is not. And when you're not embodying with your experiences, you just share knowledge. There's no wisdom in it, right? But of course, I have to say, some people sharing this knowledge, and it's really powerful and important, because that can help you actually to, basically sometimes people need this kind of knowledge or awareness to actually starting somewhere, right? So I think that's the thing I want to talking about, but I will have a separate video for that. And then I want to talking about the key of the healing. So when we're talking about why you're healing stuck, yeah, all of the reason, because you basically, the whole thing I was talking about is basically you're avoiding the core wound. Yeah, consciously you might know you want to change, you want to heal, but subconsciously there's still something you're holding on to. You still have a belief system that you may be passed on from generations, that may be like in past life, that may be like even just in current life. It doesn't need to be so ooh, right? But it does. It's all interconnected. And that's not something I'm just talking about. It's actually, I have real experiences in my shamanic training. And I was like, whoa, I didn't see this coming, right? Yeah, and also to make myself as an atheist before, to totally believe what I'm believing, I have to have real experiences to believe, yeah, this exists and this does like have a tremendous like impact on our life, right? So I'm not talking about more detail into ancestral healing and past life, that kind of stuff. Now I'm just only talking about the key of the healing, right? So in shamanic practice, we're talking about if you really want to heal, you cannot just from conscious level. So your subconscious level holding on some core wound or belief. For example, if you feel like you're not good enough, and for no matter what reason, that belief system sinking into your mind, no matter it's because of parents or because of your culture or because of whatever it is, there's a reason causing you having that belief system into your system, right? You can consciously saying, hey, I am good enough, and the affirmation teaching, right? Just affirm it. But if your subconscious doesn't believe it, and you will still, it's basically, this affirmation is kind of trying to, how can I say, it's not affirming it, it's actually deepening that wound. Because, like, for example, you consciously say, hey, I am good enough, and your subconscious is saying, no, fuck you, I don't think so, right? And then that's where you're actually having that subconscious battle with your conscious mind. And if you keep, yeah, you can do, sometimes some belief system, you can do this kind of work to actually working on it. It's easy to change. But sometimes when the subconscious belief is really deep, and this is definitely not going to work, right? So that's why we go deeper within our subconscious mind. What is really the thing, the core belief and the feelings, the emotions that we're really holding on to. And that's where the key healing, right? And also when you find out what it is, and it's not about a story, it's not about, okay, this is a story about it, and then you get caught up by the story, and then you go back to stuck in the intellectualize your healing, that phase, right? And then it becomes, just, yeah, it's just stuck in the story. And then, like we were talking about in shamanic healing, we have to actually, yes, identify what is the core belief, right? And then you will feel where it's located in your body, right? And then we're either transmuting the energy or releasing the energy. And also this process is not just a healer do it for you. You have to really feeling where it's located in your body and land it. And then most of the time people will see visions and see things happening. And that's where the woo-woo thing may coming through. And it doesn't need me to tell you what's happening. It's actually happening because it's in your system. It's in your energy field, right? So I think that's one thing. And the key principle of healing is you actually need to feel it. So there's no other way you can just shortcut and just using your mind and just clear it. Sometimes you can. Yeah, because when the belief system is not too strong and you are able to doing this like mind kind of method to actually to heal it or change the belief system, right? But ultimately, when things go really deep, the feeling is the healing. You cannot avoiding that. And another thing I think a lot of people doesn't talk about, for example, as a healer, and it's easy to actually clear the energy. I think I've talked about this for quite a while. It's really easy to clear the energy, right? And it's easy even for yourself when you listen to a meditation or journeying, whatever it is. It's easy for you to even to release whatever it is. The energy is stuck, whatever it is, right? But most important thing in healing is not clearing the energy, it's integration. And it doesn't matter how much you've done. It's like, for example, if you're dealing with one thing, you wanna the pattern and the issues you wanna heal with, right? and focus on one thing. The more you do is actually you kind of like touching a little bit surface in each area of your life, but actually you are not able to go into the deep root cause of it. And once you actually, as soon as you clear one cause of a thing, for example, attracting partner emotionally unavailable, as soon as you clear one part, really fully integrating that part of the healing, and then the rest will dissolve, right? So it's not saying, hey, like all 100% clear, but it's like the integration period of time is really important in the healing. I've seen a lot of people in my healing sessions, they, for example, come to me, have a session, have a release, feel empowered, feel lighter, but what afterwards, right? If the whole mindset doesn't change and the whole belief system doesn't change, you are calling the energy back right away the second day, right? So that's where I'm saying like integration period of time is actually really important in the healing space. But a lot of people just wanting you to keep coming back to them. And I think that's something I'm really encourage you, or if you're in that space, if you're a healer, this is not something nice to do, I have to say, because you really need to know people need people themselves holding the key of healing themselves. And yeah, the integration is most support needed, but that's where the healing and wellness industry lack of, right? So that's another thing I want to mention, the key of the healing. Feeling is the healing, and also the integration is the most important period in the healing space. And the last thing I want to talking about, the fourth stage of healing. A lot of people say, hey, why I've done so many works but feel like it's just endless and there's no, it's kind of like there's no end, right? Sometimes it feels like that because we're so many things with so much conditioning in our system, in our human history. But there is an end. I'm not saying like it's end, but this is a journey. And the journey to ourselves, the journey to our soul, the journey to reconnect who we are, what we're supposed to be here to do. So the fourth stage of the healing, the first one, you have to say is clear. Like I said, all the doctors, psychology, counseling, coaching, this is good. Help you to clear. You have to clear what is the nasty stuff within you and dirty stuff, the dirty vessel. For example, even like physical clearing as well. Like, for example, the fasting, the diet, and all that kind of stuff. This is really, really important in your healing journey. You cannot escape that. Sometimes, for example, regularly doing Reiki and regularly doing some healing session can really help you to clean your vessel. That's clearing, right? But also, a lot of people are stuck here because when you rely on the external of things to clear things for you, or you're not able to actually, okay, for example, just like really simple example, if you clear a belief system, for example, I'm not good enough, right? You cleared it. And what's next? If there's no replacement after that, and that's where we're talking about where the entity is starting to attach. I'm not talking about more about entities, but I'm just like throwing there, and I will explain later more. So like that's in shamanic practice lens, saying like when you, for example, clear something in your body, but if you don't replace it with good stuff, right? And then that's where the entity and all the other energy beings and trying to attach to you. Right, so I think a lot of people, they doesn't have energy awareness, and they did a massive clearing. And what's after? If there's no replacement, then the empty space, something has to be like filled in, occupied, right? It's because that's the energy. Otherwise, you're just leaving an energy hole in your system. And yeah, so I think that's a lot of people, even healers. They say, okay, let's do a big clearing and cleansing it. What's next? You cannot leave people in an empty space. You have to really clear, and also to replace the old stuff, like with good stuff, right? We replace good stuff to the old stuff, right? To that empty space. And so that's the second stage, replace. You clear first, and you need to replace. And old stuff, like old system, old belief system, what you believe in. And then maintenance, right? So once you starting to do clearings and replace, and then this actually two big stage, but maintenance is actually we're asking you to actually do the work. Sometimes, for example, if your pattern, you did a session or you cleared something, if a pattern still repeatingly coming back, sometimes it's test. It's testing you, are you actually getting it? So that's where the maintenance. But a lot of people doesn't want to do the maintenance because, I don't need to do the job. I just expecting other people to do it for me. So that's where your healing stuck or go back to the old pattern. I have seen a lot of people fall back to the old pattern. It's not because the healing doesn't work. It's not because of like all the things they've done is into the void. It's basically they don't want to maintain it. For example, energetic hygiene and protection, and also like just the basic thing, like the diet and how you eat and how you exercise and how you actually show up in life and how you actually taking care of your body and mind and your spirit in a whole different level. So that maintenance is actually most boring one, but also most important one. Really sustain your healing. If you have done so many work, but if you don't put in place having that discipline, is not gonna work. Right? And so you can do have most transformative experiences, but what's next? How you sustain it. Once you're actually having that discipline and you really having that become kind of like really coming home yourself, really connecting with yourself, it just become a habit. And you don't have that much things to do. You don't need to always regulate your nervous system. Your mindset just there and your system just totally feel safe and contained. And even though life maybe still throw the setbacks, obstacles to you, but you will still feel like, yeah, I've got this and I don't need to do more because I already have the solid foundation within me. That's when you know the healing is working. Yeah. And the last part is manifest, right? So a lot of people are talking about manifestation or we should do all that things because the true manifestation is actually coming from a real, like the embodiment of yourself and of all your experiences, right? And it's a timing for everything. Sometimes people in a peak season of their life, and yeah, that's where they achieve harvesting and do all the things, manifest the best life, whatever it is. And there's also a time you're meant to going through a life low. It's not about all manifesting what you want. Basically, if you're really talking about you are co-creator with the universe, right? And sometimes our human ego get into a space where this is what I want. This is what I want to manifest, and this is the dream life, dream person I want to have it in my life. But sometimes we forgot if we are having that capacity to having this. Yeah, sometimes you can manifest and heal at the same time. But most of the time, for example, if you really want something, but because if that thing's not meant for you, or you doesn't have the capacity holding what you really want, and then it eventually will collapse. And it's not going to sustain, it's not going to last. So that's what we're talking about. The low vibration manifestation and high vibration manifestation is two different things. The low vibration manifestation is like, I just want to manifest what I want, right? Which is great. A lot of people, this kind of things works for a lot of people. But the real thing is sometimes the high vibration manifestation is really, okay, I center anchoring myself in who we are and allowing the universe to deliver what is my path. And that's need a lot surrendering and trust in the past, because sometimes, for example, what you really want, this path may be totally different like than in what you actually design or choose to your real path. That's I've seen a lot of people, for example, because your ego mind really wants something happening in this way, because there's no other way, or there's no other thing teaching you how to manifest, how to live a different way, right? And then if you're really allowing this happening, the true manifestation is actually allowing yourself evolving to be who you are and allowing the past show in front of you, and you follow one step at a time. But maybe you never know what the real path is, but that's the true manifestation. No matter what happened, you know the path is in front of you. It will show you in the right timing, and you let go of the control. Right? So I think that's kind of another thing I want to talking about. So it's not about like manifesting what you want. It's actually become the authentic yourself and really speaking your truth and embodying who you are, basically embodying who you are, and then allow the past show its way, right? And so that's basically the whole thing I want to talking about, the healing. And I will have more things coming up as well, because I really want to bring awareness to what's really happening, why you're healing stuck, what is the most important thing in healing. And also the other side of healing, the healing doesn't necessarily need to be always shadow work and all doom and gloom. Sometimes you need to learn how to laugh about your pain as well, right? So the other side of the healing is like you really feel solid and finding that sovereignty within yourself. You're not looking for anything external of you. No matter you have a partner or doesn't have it, or whatever the situation you're in, you're really connected with yourself and you're solid within. And that's the most important things. And then you can enjoy things more, no matter what you're going through. It's just like you're solid like a tree. I think that's the other side of healing. You have much more peace, and even in the center of the storm, right? So I think that's kind of the thing I want to share today. And I hope that can really bring your awareness and insight and into your healing journey. If you really like what I'm saying, resonate with what I'm going to share, please share with people who may really need to hear this. All right, and thank you very much.